When I first moved from the US to the UK, I promised myself that I wouldn't change. I said, I'm American, I'm keeping my American habits, and now, well, let's just say the British assimilation has slowly taken over completely. I didn't even notice that it was happening. One day I just woke up apologizing to a chair that I bumped into, drinking tea at 3 p.m. for emotional support, and getting personally offended by train delays like every other Brit. So today I'm sharing the 10 British habits I accidentally picked up as an American living here in the UK. If you're an American and planning to move here, consider this your warning. And if you're British, feel free to judge just how far gone I am. If there's one habit that slides into your personality without warning, it's the British sorry. And I don't mean apologizing when you actually make a mistake. I mean apologizing for existing in the general vicinity of other humans. In America, sorry is something you say when you genuinely feel bad or you made a mistake. In the UK, sorry is a greeting, it's a reaction, a filler word, a reflex, a spiritual practice. I found myself apologizing when someone bumped into me. I apologized when someone else walked around me. I even apologized when a door didn't open quickly enough for someone else. This habit has just been so ingrained that when I go back to the States, my friends look at me like I've joined a politeness cult, and honestly, it's kind of comforting. Saying sorry smooths social interactions, avoids awkwardness, and makes everything a little bit softer, and once you adopt it, it's almost impossible to stop. Next, let's talk about using British filler words like brilliant, lovely, and cheers. Before moving to the UK, my vocabulary was very standard American. Awesome, cool, thanks. But after living here, suddenly everything is brilliant, everything is lovely, and every email ends with cheers, even when I have no idea what I'm actually cheersing to. The funny part is that those words carry a different energy in the UK. Brilliant isn't necessarily about something extraordinary or literally brilliant. It's just a friendly marker of approval, and people even say it when something's not brilliant. Lovely is sprinkled into conversations like seasoning, and cheers is like a Swiss Army knife of polite endings. Thank you, goodbye, acknowledgement, emotional neutrality. Take your pick, cheers does it all. And over time, I realized that these words sneak into your vocabulary because they soften interactions. They make conversations warmer, friendlier, more pleasant. Americans sometimes sound a bit blunt to British ears, and British filler words help bridge that gap. So now I'm stuck between two vocabularies, confusing everyone back home and kind of blending in perfectly here. The next habit is queuing without being asked. Americans queue, sure, but not like the British. The British queue is an institution. It is sacred, it is respected, it is never questioned. When I first moved here, I would walk into a shop or a station and think, you know, why is everyone standing in this neat, perfect line just to get onto the train or get onto the bus? But now, even if I enter a space without an obvious queue, I start panicking. Like, where's the queue? Should I form one? Who was here first? Am I accidentally cutting? It's like this internal moral compass rewires itself. The British take pride in orderly waiting. There's no pushing, no chaos, no shouting, just quiet, patient, disciplined queuing. The next habit is becoming emotionally attached to the weather app. Weather in the UK is unpredictable, and that's putting it politely. It can be sunny at 10, raining at 10:07, windy at 10:15, and then acting like nothing happened by 11. At first, I thought Brits were exaggerating when they complained about the weather, but now I check the weather app religiously. I've become obsessed with the hourly forecast, the percentage of rain, the wind speed, the UV index, things I never really cared about back in California because honestly, it was typically always the same. But it doesn't help that the weather app is usually wrong, so you still find yourself checking the sky all the time, even though you just checked the weather app. But somewhere along the way, this obsession just becomes normal. You bring up the weather in every conversation you have with someone, and that's when you know that you've assimilated. My next habit is developing very strong opinions about trains. Before living in the UK, I could have cared less about trains. I don't really think about routes, delays, cancellations, rail strikes. Then I moved here, and suddenly I've developed passionate monologues about train companies. I know which lines are reliable, which ones always cancel, which ones require emotional resilience, and which ones are actually not that bad if you go off peak. Brits bond deeply over train misery. You can make friends simply by saying, ugh, the trains today, and immediately you're gonna have someone turn around and have a full conversation about it. It becomes a part of your identity. You learn to leave early just in case. You accept you may never arrive exactly on time, and you celebrate the rare miracle of a smooth journey. The next habit is carrying an umbrella at all times. In California, I would check the weather, see sunshine, and trust it, but in the UK, sunshine means nothing. Sunshine is a trick, it's a lie. After getting caught in the rain one too many times, I now carry a teeny tiny mini umbrella or even like a roll-up waterproof jacket everywhere in my purse, even when the sky looks perfectly clear. This is one of the earliest habits you adopt because you learn fast. British rain is sneaky. It doesn't roll in dramatically like American storms. It kind of just slips into the day very lightly, very quietly. One minute you're living your normal life, the next minute you are soaked. It's not just carrying the umbrella, it's kind of just expecting the rain. It changes how you dress, how you plan. You kind of learn the art of layering, the importance of waterproof shoes, and just how wrong the weather app can be. It's a UK rite of passage. And to kind of piggyback off that last point, the next habit is dressing for all 4 seasons in one day. One of the most practical British habits I've picked up is layering, like my life depends on it, because honestly it does. Like I just talked about, though, UK weather changes constantly, and the outfit that keeps you comfortable at 9 a.m. won't be so comfortable at noon. So now I dress like I'm prepared for a hike, a heat wave, a rainstorm, and a light snow all in one afternoon, because you kind of never know. You learn to always have an extra layer, always have something waterproof, never trust sunny skies, and never underestimate the wind. Shoes must be comfortable, and coat pockets must serve as portable storage units. I remember when I first moved to London, I was way more obsessed with looking cute and looking London, like a cute long pea coat, cute boots, and you know, looking cute is great, but staying dry and warm while also being comfortable is so much better. The next habit is using subtle British sarcasm that Americans don't understand. Like I've talked about in several videos, British humor is dry, understated, and coated in a layer of sarcasm so subtle that Americans usually miss it entirely. When I first moved here, I couldn't tell if people were joking, annoyed, or secretly making fun of me, but now I kind of use the same sarcasm here and there. So naturally, Americans back home think I'm being passive aggressive because British sarcasm is not big, loud, or obvious like American sarcasm. It's delivered in a calm tone, usually with a straight face, and once you adopt it, there's kind of no going back. The next habit I picked up without even realizing it. In the US, we say restroom or bathroom, even in places where there's no rest or bathing, but in the UK, people just say toilet. And at first that did feel very blunt because you ask for the toilet and that's actually what you're looking for. Brits don't dance around it with euphemisms, and after hearing it 20 times a day, the word stops sounding strange. It just kind of becomes natural. Then you go back to the US and say, "Where's your toilet?" accidentally, and everyone looks at you like you just violated social norms. It's such a tiny linguistic shift, but it also is one of the strongest signs of British assimilation. One of the most surprising British habits I picked up is just talking quietly in public, and I don't mean whispering, I mean speaking at a calm, controlled, almost indoor voice level no matter where you are. In the US, people talk loudly everywhere, in restaurants, in shops, at cafes, even just walking down the street. It's normal, it's not considered rude, it's just part of American culture. But in the UK, the volume is noticeably lower. People speak softly, they don't broadcast their conversations, and there's this unspoken rule of keeping your voice at a polite, socially acceptable level. At first, I didn't really notice a difference, but over time, my own speaking voice has slowly adjusted. I became more conscious of not disturbing people around me, keeping things subtle and less Americanly enthusiastic. And now when I go back to the US, I feel overwhelmed by how loud everything suddenly seems. Conversations feel like they're being yelled from across the room. People answer their phones like they're on stage, and I'm just sitting there like, why is everyone yelling? The funny thing about living in another country is that it just changes you in ways that you don't even notice. These British habits didn't arrive overnight. They crept in slowly until one day I realized I wasn't just living in the UK, I was becoming a little bit British myself. And I mean, yes, technically I am British by blood since my dad is from here. I have dual citizenship with the UK and the US, but you don't actually feel British until you start picking up these British habits while living here. If you're an American watching this, consider this a preview of your future if you ever do decide to move here. And if you're British, let me know which habits I missed and how many more I still need to adopt before I officially become one of you. Now let's take a look at why I decided to leave the US and move to the UK in the first place.